And a very happy Thursday to you at 12:07 in the West. It's the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's in Culver City.
John, the entire political world is reacting to the announcement that Kamala Harris is not running for governor. Nancy Pelosi was asked about it on CNN with Jake Tapper and made some news of her own with an endorsement of who she might be supporting for governor in 2026.
Former Senator and Vice President Kamala Harris is not going to run for governor in California. This obviously opens the door for her to run for president again in 2028. Is that something you'd like to see?
Well, I'm sure that I support any decision that she made in terms of running for governor in California.
Passive aggressive much?
And now we're off to a gubernatorial race. We have many great candidates. One in particular, Lenny Sakopoulos, whom I support.
Who?
Play that one more time.
One in particular, Lenny Sakopoulos, whom I support.
Okay. So I know it's easy to hear that and say to yourself, okay, she's referring to Eleni Kounalakis, and she called her something else.
One in particular, Lenny Sakopoulos.
Eleni Sakopoulos?
And it's easy to think, okay, grandma's drunk. However, that is apparently her maiden name.
Oh, really?
Yes. And what's interesting is she's referring to Eleni, who's been married for a long time, by her maiden name because her father, who has that same name, obviously, is the big Democratic mega donor. So Nancy's thinking about the guy with the money, and that's the name that she called her.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
For Californians.
So wait a second. She went from one unpronounceable last name to another?
It sounds like it.
One in particular, Lenny Sakopoulos, whom I support. But unless if Kamala was not running, whatever she decides to do in the future, that election's 3 years off. I'm focused on this one.
In Nancy's defense, I call women by their maiden name for the first 15 years of marriage. Hey, Nancy, who's your favorite athlete? Well, it's a tie between Lou Alcindor and Bruce Jenner. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. As Randy mentioned, that is the big news here in California and beyond. The former Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, announced that she is taking a pass on running for governor.
For more, here's Fox 11 and Alex Michelson.
My plans are to be in touch with my community.
After months of consideration, Kamala Harris says, quote, I love this state, its people, and its promise. It is my home. But after deep reflection, I've decided that I will not run for governor in this election.
I certainly weighed in and shared with her my thoughts.
Democratic Congressmember Sidney Kamlager-Dove.
Yeah, I'm sure Kamala was taking advice from Sidney Kamlager-Dove.
Who the hell does this woman think she is that any of us are believing this line of BS?
This is the woman that replaced Karen Bass in Congress. I think she's the congresswoman where this radio station is.
No kidding.
Is thinking about advice that Harris offered her back in January.
She said, make sure that the decisions that you make are right for you. Do not forget that you owe yourself before you owe anyone else.
Kamala says take care of Mamala first.
Oh, yes. Take care of old number one.
And to be as authentic as you can. So
Okay, that's a stretch coming from Kamala Harris.
Oh, you got to be kidding me on that one.
We are doing it.
Authenticity? It's like that line from the late, great Dan Avey. Always be sincere, even if you don't mean it.
And to be as authentic as you can. So I'm hoping and I believe that she's taking her own advice.
Harris's statement says, quote, for now, my leadership in public service will not be in elected office. I look forward to getting back out and listening to the American people, helping elect Democrats across the nation who will fight fearlessly.
What Democrats want you campaigning for them?
My leadership? Who wrote that for her? What aide typed that into Chat GPT?
And sharing more details in the months ahead about my own plans.
I could certainly see her, running a think tank. I could certainly see her.
That'd be one hell of a think tank.
Yeah, don't you have to have thoughts?
She'll call it the Clear Group.
We are clear and have been clear.
Well, the Scientologist might sue her.
I could certainly see her, running a think tank. I could certainly see her taking the...
She has no power. You don't need to kiss her ass anymore.
Yeah, what's the deal with this? This is just puckering right up and going for it.
I could certainly see her, running a think tank. I could certainly see her taking the helm of a law firm.
Voters that Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez spoke with think Harris isn't quite done with politics yet.
Maybe she's planning to run for president again.
I voted for Harris in 2024. I wouldn't have supported her if there was, a real primary.
I don't think it took long to find that guy.
Nope.
I wouldn't have supported her if there was, a real primary.
She always played the game, and I never was that interested in her.
Fox 11 consistently finds the best men on the street.
I'll tell you, one of the things I love about local news is man on the street interviews because they produce gold like you only saw in 1849.
She always played the game, and I never was that interested in her.
Not a fan.
For some reason, I picture this guy looking like Flava Flav.
By the way, think about that. Maybe there were other people that didn't make the edit, but 2 out of the 3 people they asked about Kamala in the city of Los Angeles, not a fan.
Well, that's reflective of what happened in the 2020 Democratic primary when Grampy Joe beat the pants off her.
As for the California governor's race, almost all the major Democrats who are running put out statements praising Harris, while the Republicans running bashed Harris's record.
The fact that she has now made this decision at the end of July finally allows the California 26 governor's race to begin.
Open up those wallets, people.
And I'm sure if you're a Democrat in California, the text messages asking for money started just about this time yesterday.
You're going to get so many messages from so many people named Tony.
Tony, Tony, Tony.
Dan Schnurr teaches politics at USC, UC Berkeley, and Pepperdine. He says with Harris out, candidates are furiously calling her donors right now. Maybe if you're a
including the donors that feel cheated after the last election.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that are really angry. Didn't she spend over $1 billion and ended up in debt to lose the election?
Yes. Because they decided to invest in analytics. Like they're Dave Roberts on the Dodgers.
Good luck with that.
And the analytics told them, you know what? We shouldn't respond to that trans ad.
Yeah, what's the deal with all of these computer programs telling you what to do? And the end result of spending $1 billion is, let's defund ICE and spend the money on sex change operations for illegals.
Maybe if you're a Democratic donor, put your phone on airplane mode.
Maybe just for a couple of months.
Businessman Rick Caruso says he'll decide whether to run for L.A. mayor or California governor, quote, after summer. Just this week.
Well, I mean, school gets back next week. Can you get to this now?
Well, he could wait as long as he wants because he doesn't have to raise the money. He could strike a check and outraise every other candidate in the field.
That's true, but we'd like to make Q3.
Just this week, he posted photos with former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown, showing him the Capitol.
And by the way, that picture gets posted on Tuesday. The first thing on Wednesday, Kamala says she's out.
Willie, I suspect, knew something.
At 91, may still be the most influential politician in California.
And the smartest brain in California.
After Brown recently suggested he'd make a good governor.
I don't think it would be too much of a reach to say that the likelihood of Rick Caruso running for governor is markedly higher than it was a week ago.
Caruso, of course, is a billionaire who could write himself a huge check, so he has the advantage of time. He can wait while everybody else...
How does Kamala feel that every news report about her dropping out has turned into a, hey, is Rick Caruso running?
She's not watching.
While everybody else has to be fundraising right now, and they're pretty busy doing that as we speak.
So you have interviewed the former vice president a number of times, have been to Washington. Did this surprise you at all? Could it have gone either way?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, she's giving up, what would be a huge front runner to be the governor of the biggest state in the country and one of the most powerful jobs in the world, the fourth largest economy.
Small potatoes.
Oh, she almost had that brass ring.
With no for sure path to becoming president. It is possible that Kamala Harris has now run her last race ever. We'll see. I spoke to people on her team. I spoke to all pretty much the campaigns today. And it seems like Kamala Harris, her heart was just not in this race. And so she...
Well, that was true from the beginning.
Yeah, she never cared about California subjects. She just wanted the job as a perch so she could run for president again.
If she was really in this and decided this is going to be my move, I'm going to reinvent myself, become the governor of California, she had a perfect opportunity to make her presence known when the neighborhood right next to her burned down.
Or how about this? As the former Attorney General of California and DA of San Francisco, why not weigh in on Prop 36 and explain how you're voting and why?
And so she chose her, and she listened to her gut in saying, I'm not going to do this if I'm not ready to do this.
I picked up on that advice myself. Interesting. I think it's going to be a very interesting race in a whole different way now.
Very interesting, and probably much closer and more competitive and even more expensive.
Well, that's good for us in the news business.
So here's the way I see it so far. Now that Kamala Harris is out of the way, I predict what you're going to see is the Democratic establishment get behind the Lieutenant Governor, Eleni Kounalakis. And they're going to do that because if you look at this field of candidates, whether it be any of the Tonys, Antonio Villaraigosa, Tony Atkins, Tony Thurmond, Katie Porter, any of the others, what can those candidates do for you? Let's say you're a member of Congress. Let's say you're a member of the state legislature. Let's say you are a Democratic Party mover and shaker, and you throw your support behind Javier Baccaria.
Is he still running?
He's still running. He's scrubbing a lot of things, and he's also running. What can he do for you? How can he help you win re-election? How can he help you if you're in the Congress, become a committee chairman? How can he help you run for higher office? What can he do for you?
He can scrub.
But when you do the scrub,
what can Tony V do for you?
Do you need some Herbalife?
I'm sure he'd like to sell it to you. But what can he do? He can't even get you Laker tickets anymore because he's not mayor. Tony Atkins.
Who?
Exactly. These people would be very happy to accept your support and accept your donations, but they can't do anything for you. Eleni Kounalakis is from a family that is among the top 10 richest families in California, and they spend a ton on politics.
For Californians!
My guess is if you're a Democratic Party operative or elected official, you've already accepted money from her and her family, and you've been accepting money from them for years. So you already have a relationship with them. She is now motivated more than ever to lock up all the support that she can. So she's going to throw around more money to more people than any other candidate in the race. She and her father and the uncles and the cousins and everyone involved in all of those businesses in Sacramento are going to kick in to any candidate who does something for her. The moment you get behind her, she makes it rain. She already has more money than any other candidate in the race herself. And guess what? She'll spend whatever it takes, just like she did for lieutenant governor, just like she did when she bought herself the ambassadorship to Hungary.
Well, and you look at who's going to possibly need donations, big donors down the line. She might be the one to secure that, I don't know what it's worth, but the Gavin endorsement.
And Kamala Harris needs to retire how much debt?
A lot.
I can almost guarantee you today Kamala Harris is going to support this woman because she needs that money to retire her debt. Nancy Pelosi wants to win back a majority in the House. Who did she get behind yesterday? Her longtime friend.
I think Kamala's campaign owes about $20 million.
There you go. And Eleni would be happy to cover that in exchange for an endorsement. Even though no one knows who this woman is at this point, and Dan Walters, who is the dean of the Sacramento Press Corps, has appeared on this program any number of times and said that the woman in Sacramento is an enigma that no one knows anything about, she is going to be Meg Whitman 2.0. You just watch. If you don't know her name now, you'll know her name soon.
She better be nice to her maids.
If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, if you missed yesterday's show when so many members of the audience weighed in on the big news that Kamala Harris wouldn't be running for governor, and you want to find out what they had to say, that's easy to do.
All you got to do is search for The John Phillips Show wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's the Apple Podcast app, iHeart, Spotify. Search for The John Phillips Show. Hit subscribe. You can download all the episodes. Do a Google on the YouTube. Get the KABC app. Get the KSFO app. You can listen to yesterday's show that included nothing but Kamala calls, except for the two guys that called because their cars kept getting stolen.
But right now, what do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
Well, let's do that right now. 790 KABC welcomes the Gypsy Kings, featuring Nicholas Reyes at the Greek Theater on August 9th. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. But right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-795-2222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Needlander Concerts. Good luck dialing.
Let's go to Monica. Monica, hello.
Hi, John. Thank you for taking my call. Hello, Randy. I just wanted to react to Kamala dropping out of the gubernatorial race. Like I wrote in email, all of the upcoming holidays have come early. Couldn't be more thrilled. My whole family is thrilled. We were impacted by the Palisades fire. And I remember from your commentary, Kamala Harris was in a podcast that was so bad that it wouldn't air. She said stuff like bacon is a spice. She does mix up the sauce because there was a Thanksgiving message that she put out there. It's on YouTube where she does sound like a bit drunk. And I think she knows what she's walking into or getting into if she were to become the governor, and it's probably not worth it for her. The endless fires and homelessness, just up and up taxes and housing policy. It would be a lot to contend with, and she'd be taking a pay cut. And a VP, a presidential VP, apparently makes over $280K. And as a governor, she'd be taking in $240,000. So it's about a $50,000 difference in pay. And also with the recent riots, there's a lot of controversy. The riots in Los Angeles, because she was known to have bailed out those George Floyd rioters in Minnesota. And even though she is not running, still, and we dodged that bullet. We do have some rather shady candidates in this race. So how do we know if they're going to do a great job? Some of them are a bit dodgy, such as Antonio Villagosa. I don't think I pronounced that name correctly.
It doesn't matter.
It's a made-up name.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it like a hybrid between like his name, like his wife's last name?
He's Tony Viller, and he married Elizabeth Ragosa.
why he merged. I don't know. It must have been some sort of inheritance, some financial benefit.
You know who did
Some
that?
sort of-
Harvey Weinstein did that. His movie company was Miramax, and I think his mother was Miriam and his dad was Maxwell, and he named the movie company Miramax.
Oh, what a great merger! He turned out just so wonderful. I think he's still getting prosecuted for those issues, but yeah. Kamala she doesn't even have that support. I mean, you played that clip of Nancy Pelosi, and you can hear the silence when the reporter asked her if she would support Kamala in running for California governor. You don't want to be on Nancy's bad side. She's definitely, she will definitely is quite an enemy to have.
Well, I'd rather be on Nancy's bad side than Hillary Clinton's, because who wants to end up hanging in Jeffrey Epstein's cell?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I don't want to be on that listing at all. But
all right.
Hopefully we have a candidate.
Well, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. And you know, Randy, her remarks about Kamala really hit home for me. Every time you turn on the television and you see her slurring her words, making no sense, laughing for no reason, I think to myself, it's alcoholics like her that give alcoholics like us a bad name.
I will repeat myself.
Now, speaking of Kamala, she did announce what she's up to right now.
She's writing a book. For more.
Writing a book?
Yes.
Well, shouldn't she have read one first?
For more, here's KTLA.
Just into our newsroom, former Vice President Kamala Harris has announced she's got a new book titled 107 Days about her very short, unsuccessful campaign for president.
And she only put out a paragraph to different reporters for not running for governor. She put together a video for this one.
Since leaving office, I've spent a lot of time reflecting on those days, talking with my team.
How much of it was cursing Joe Biden's name?
Ooh, that was a lot of it.
Talking with my team, my family, my friends, and pulling my thoughts together. In essence, writing a journal that is this book.
Harris.
This is going to be an airing of the grievances. Otherwise, who's going to read it?
No, not necessarily. If she still thinks that she's viable to be president, she is not going to have an airing of the grievances. They do that when they think that they can't get elected to anything. That's when they light everything on fire. That's when they burn the buildings and salt the land. You will be able to tell how viable she thinks she is based on what she talked about, what she said about Joe Biden's mental acuity in private. If she said that they would go to that weekly lunch and she'd sit down across the table from him while he was digging into his salmon and she was digging into her pasta, and he'd excuse himself because he had to go to the bathroom, and he'd go into the broom closet and then come back out relieved, that's when you know she's done. But if she's going to sit there and say that, oh, behind the scenes, Joe Biden's putting Rubik's Cube after Rubik's Cube together, he falls going up the flight of stairs on television, but in private, this guy's doing advanced calculus, that's the storyline that she needs out there to remain viable. Because if she realized that this guy had tapioca between his ears and she didn't say anything to anyone and she actively lied about it, who in the hell would vote for her?
Well, if that's what's in the book, who the hell's buying it?
Well, this is where you have your donors buy it. That's a way to launder money. If you're a politician, you can't work for a billionaire, but you can write a book, and these guys can buy a zillion copies and fill up their garage with them. And my guess is, if there's anyone out there who thinks that she's going to be president, that's who's going to be buying the book.
So what you're saying is it's unlikely that there will be a chapter in this book detailing how pissed Kamala still is at the Obamas for not letting her in the VIP tent at one of his rallies years ago.
Nope. And if it's just the official storyline, I'm telling you, the only people who are going to be buying this book are the donors. It's like, who the hell do you think is buying Hunter Biden's art?
Well, we actually know who. We allowed to talk about that yet?
I don't think so. No one wearing a beret is buying that art because they want to put it on their walls and talk to people about as they eat brie and drink wine. It's only people who want to funnel money to the Bidens.
Someone got a plum job out of it.
Yes, they did.
Harris took to social media this morning to urge people to read her new memoir, which comes out in September. Since she lost the election to Donald Trump in November, she's been thinking about her next move, and she's decided to skip the California governor's race if she had entered.
So at what point are we going to see the chapter, Why I Picked the Dumbass from Minnesota?
Yeah, I definitely want to hear that story. What was she thinking? We need someone that appeals to middle America, so how about this? Let's have camouflage hats that have our name on it, and let me go out and get this governor from Minnesota, you know, the one with the jazz hands, where every time he walks out on stage, he looks like he's Richard Simmons heading to Johnny Carson's couch.
Well, we're never going to see the true story of what happened there because it's fairly obvious. She could have gone with the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, but he would have outshone her big time.
And based on what I read in the books, they interviewed him for it. He didn't want it. And he said that if they were going to put him on the ticket, he wouldn't have to take the same insane positions as her on subjects like defunding ICE to pay for sex change operations for illegal aliens.
If she had entered that race, she would have had advantages like name recognition and national campaign donors. But in a statement, she says she wants to help elect Democrats across the country. She says she will reveal more details about her own plans in the coming months.
In writing this book, one truth kept coming back to me. Sometimes the fight takes a while.
Everything that comes out of this woman's mouth is phony and disingenuous. Have you noticed that?
Seems to be a trend with attorney generals of the state of California.
No kidding.
But I remain full of hope, and I remain clear-eyed.
Really? She put clear in that?
Her favorite word.
We are clear and have been clear.
You're going to need Publishers Clearinghouse.
And I remain clear-eyed. I will never stop fighting to make our country reflect the very best of its ideals.
So what exactly does that mean? Another run for president? Political observers say it's clear she's leaving that possibility open, which is why she doesn't want to be governor.
I'm not surprised that Kamala Harris isn't running. I think she made a calculation, one, that she wasn't being begged to run, and two, I think when you close one door, you...
That is true. Nobody, and I mean nobody, was begging her to run for governor of California.
If there is someone out there who was doing that, I'd love to know who it was.
And two, I think when you close one door, you really open another. I'm not sure that she got out of her system the desire to be president of the United States.
I've observed over the years, with very few exceptions, and there are exceptions, people who run for president and lose would like to run again, especially in her case, because people don't talk about this very much. While she lost those battleground states, in terms of the popular vote, she came very close.
No, she still lost it.
She lost every single one of those battleground states. Not one did she pick up. Not one.
She didn't do as well here compared to Biden, and she's from here.
What does that tell you?
With Harris now out of the race for governor, a bunch of other Democrats are thinking they might have a better chance. That list includes California Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis, former L.A. Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa, former...
Hey, Tony V., you got second billing.
Hey, Tony.
Former L.A. Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa, former Congresswoman Katie Porter, former...
Tony V. got billing on top of Katie Porter.
By the way, did you see in Politico, they had a piece out saying that Katie Porter benefits more than anyone else now that Kamala Harris is not in the race?
Well, every poll that they had for the last 6 months showed that if Kamala would get in, Kamala had this massive lead, but Katie Porter was in second and had double-digit leads over everybody else that nobody knows.
No!
How do you think Katie's going to hold up when Eleni Kanalaka spends literally billions of dollars looking into Katie's past.
Don't worry, she'll do a whole campaign about earmarks.
Porter, former Assembly Speaker Tony Atkins, Superintendent of Public Instruction Tony Thurmond, and former U.S. Health Secretary Javier Becerra. Republican candidates include...
What a weak field.
Yeah, no kidding.
Republican candidates include the Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco.
No, I like Chad Bianco.
That's not a hard name to pronounce, by the way.
Chad Bianco.
Chad.
You get in trouble if you mispronounce Kamala's name. Chad Bianco is easy.
Chad
Bianco, and former Fox News host Steve Hilton. But here in deep blue California, no Republican has won statewide office in nearly 20 years. Whoever comes out on top will need to be good at one thing in particular, and that is fundraising. You need a lot of money to run a statewide campaign for governor.
And that's why it's going to be Kanalakis versus Caruso.
I think that's exactly where we're headed.
We're calling it the Save Broadcast Radio and Television election.
It helps if you already have a lot of money. Some observers think billionaire businessman Rick Caruso will get into the race. He has a lot of time to decide. The primary is not until June of next year.
So there you go. There's all the latest on Kamala and her book.
Okay, just out of curiosity, let's go ahead and push this car off a cliff to see what'll happen. Do you plan on reading Kamala Harris's book? 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. You know, Randy, I briefly considered buying her book because it's been a really long time since I've colored. Lots of crayons available over at Target. But then I decided against it. Are you going to read her book? 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. Let's go to Adam. Adam, hello.
I'm on the radio, so.
You're on the radio now.
What's that?
You're on the radio.
Turn that off? Wait, hello?
Let's just see how long we can go with this.
Oh, gosh. Hey, guys. Sorry. Yeah, I wanted to talk about Kamala. And what type of vodka do you think she drinks?
Whatever vodka comes in the big bottle at Costco.
Kirkland.
I'm thinking it's got to be boxes, and her trash recycle's got to be full.
Thank you for the call, sir. Let's go to DJ. DJ, hello.
Hello, John.
Hi there.
Hi. John, I'm an old Boy Scout, and our motto was always be prepared. So, you know, you never know. There could be another run on toilet paper. So I think we should buy her book just to have it on hand. In Boy Scouts, we used to refer to this invaluable stuff as mountain money. And in Espanol, that is el dinero del Montero. Adios, vaqueros.
Thank you for the call, sir. I appreciate that. Let's go to Tom in San Bruno. Tom, you have about 30 seconds. Go.
Real simple, John. With the Kamala book, I would not buy it, and I'll try to dissuade anyone else from doing it. She's not worth the time of day.
All right. Thank you for the call. Let's go to Steve at Laguna Beach. Steve, hello.
Hi. You guys are doing a great job. I'm absolutely buying the book, actually several. I'm the assistant archivist for the Joseph R. Robinette library that's coming up. We're buying the coffee table version. Absolutely. Quite frankly, we're going to buy that book and put it out there. I think this is cannon fodder for parody books, like you said, like a Steele Patel. She's a wonderful impressionist. If Joseph R. can write a memoir with oatmeal brains and get $10 million for it, she's doing the best she can because she can't get any traction on any of the podcasts or shows. She just goes out in flames in personal appearances. So this is another last-ditch attempt at salvation for her. But it's going in the library.
It's going in it. There we go. We're done, Johnny.